Are we all floating around in a digital void? I feel like recent events have made me question the conduct I've seen on social media. As someone who has admittedly blown time off to commenting and even trolling on Twitter, I think a lot about how people relate to one another online. Why are we so obsessed about saying inflammatory stuff on platforms where anyone can see what we say? How much can we extend ourselves on social media before we finally decide to log off? And what damage are we doing to other people on the other side of the screen? Although Huxley is quoted to say that so long as men worship the Caesars and Napoleons will duly arise and make them miserable. When I read this, I can't help but draw parallels to people making political comments on social media sites like Twitter. This video will explore how social media has impacted American politics. The recent Black Lives Matter protests are the most recent examples of conflicts between the general public and the US government. Joe Biden has made proposals to reallocate funds in municipal police departments, but he'd have to win the White House first. Even then, Biden would need a Democratic-dominated legislature branch to get those proposals anywhere. Upon looking at some research addressing these concerns, it's really difficult to measure how much the entertainment industry actually contributes to a society that's too distracted to combat interpersonal conflicts between the American government and marginalized groups. One problem is a lack of case studies on how social media directly affects governments across the globe, save for the Arab Spring in the early 2010s. While many countries in the Middle East rankered for change, governments clamped out the movement altogether. We have yet to see major changes to social policy regarding marginalized groups at the federal level within the United States. How exactly has social media impacted US politics? Well, one study I found argued that most incendiary tweets come in the form of replies. Even with these findings, though, this study advocated for further research on the effects of intergroup communication within Twitter replies. This first graph shows that the majority of replies to the study's tweet data are pro-Trump. The second graph shows a slightly less pro-Trump mention network. Mention networks are tweets that contain a tag to another Twitter account. But what does this mean for the general public? Well, the study can only say that the jury is still out, but can we find clues anywhere else? If we look at the state of unrest in Portland, Oregon, could we start making educated guesses about how one social media site affects people? I think it does, and I think it's very powerful.